from Denovo. Whole practice management software built for modern law firms. Your practice performance matters.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome along to another CaseLoad coaching session. I'm Grant Yule, Head of Marketing here at Denovo, joined as always by legal tech expert and our operations director, Stephen Hill. So today we will be showing you how we believe that CaseLoad is a complete civil litigation case management solution that will help you automate your workflow and streamline your communication processes, as well as having the ability to review and increase efficiencies in the long run. Stephen will be providing insight into how some of CaseLoad's key features help civil litigation lawyers like you in your day-to-day working life. So hopefully you'll find that beneficial. The aim is to give you an overview of how CaseLoad can help eliminate time-consuming and repetitive tasks in the civil litigation environment, with the ability to manage matter-specific tasks and enhance firm-wide collaboration. You will see how having all case data and communication within CaseLoad, you'll see how easy it is for someone, a team member, to work on a case, manage deadlines, and prepare files to go to court. So we're going to get into it just shortly. Just a quick reminder that we will accept questions throughout the demonstration. Please just type them into us. And then as soon as Stephen finishes the demo, we'll answer those questions for you. So without further ado, I'll pass you over to Stephen and we can begin.
Thanks, Grant. So this week we're going to look at quite a few specific things in terms of learning objectives, the client onboarding process, how important that is to get that right and consistent throughout the firm. During that, we'll look at entering client data into both the CRM and the data pages that can accompany work types like civil litigation. We'll look at how easy it is to record time and track time and save time by doing things quicker and more efficiently. We'll dive into the court diary and see how that can look and how you can manage upcoming court appointments, have that synced with your Office 365 calendars. And then we'll just, after the onboarding process, it's natural to be working on the case, navigating events, importing emails, revising documents. So we'll cover all of that as we go through. So this is the CaseLoad look and feel experience. You can see we've navigated to the Leeds environment to start with. Leeds is a fairly new addition to CaseLoad. It's launched in the last year, and we feel it's an important place where you can store information about inquiries, converting them eventually to clients' jobs and matters. So we'll start with that in mind and see how we go through the onboarding process. You see I've got a lead in the system already. It's shown in red, which means it's a new lead that's come in. So the lead would be assigned to someone. They would get an Outlook style notification to say that they have been assigned the lead. And you'll see on this, we have various actions that can take place on the lead. As it's came in, this happens to be an RTA lead, so we'll follow through with that and see how we become how that then becomes a client and job. And if we can nail the onboarding process, then the client receives the same experience every time. Consistency happens within the firm, and you're able to quicker get to work. So on the new button, you'll see we can communicate with the client, or the inquiry, if we want to call them at this stage, so they're not a full client yet, with events, emails, and text. Those various methods of communication can happen, and they will be stored as events in the system. You see when I created this one earlier today, just to have it live and to save it, input in the data, that an inquiry went to someone, an email inquiry went to someone within the firm, with details of the person that's inquiring. So not only can you get an Outlook style notification and CaseLoad, you can also get an email to your mailbox to tell you that that inquiry has come in. So we'll work on the basis that this inquiry is going to then convert to a client in matter. And you see, because we've already got quite a lot of information on the screen, then we're going to have to put less information into onboard them as a full client. And then we see how quickly that converts to documents going to the client. So let's see if we can get the terms of business to the client by email in the next 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes maybe. So we've onboarded the client. We've got the details in there, which we already had in the previous page, so nothing else to fill out on the screen. It did a quick conflict check there. So this client has a unique postcode, name and address. If they didn't, then the conflict check would have highlighted that to say that there's already a duplicate client in the system. We'll just fill out some analysis fields in here just to fill in where some of the data came from. This becomes relevant as we progress through becoming a full client in matter. So we've created the client, we'll create the client account, and we're now just going to work on creating the matter and job. So the client's just been created there. The information we've put in allows them to be stored in the system as a client. We're now looking to put in the matter information. So the description was pulled through from the lead description, so we know what that relates to. Work type, we'll just pick civil work type, and pick a partner, and a fee earner, pick myself, and an office. The analysis page is based on the work type. So because we're in the civil environment, it's asking for the court. We might not have that data at this information along with the limitation date. I'll just stick one in there we'll make it 3 years, and we'll click next. And we'll switch on time recording as well, just so we can demonstrate that as we progress through that one there. I'll just pick that to start with. So we're going to click create. And because this is an RTA case and we highlighted it as such, it will throw up the RTA data page for collecting information. So depending on the type of case you want to onboard, you see there's various information that we can collect. So this data page happens to be, as we said, for an RTA. The fields that you see marked with the asterisks are the mandatory fields. That's up to the firm what data they decide is mandatory. So I'm just going to fill in those fields there, and we'll scroll through the rest of this just to give you a flavour of what that can look like. So we'll pick from the drop down. In this instance, it was the driver. So as you can see, as we go through the data page, you can be contacting other areas of the system. So things like third-party insurance details, you could be searching for the insurer. The GP address attended, we'll look in the database for the GP. So if the GP is already in the system, why manually put the information back in every time you get something for that case? You see I've just added that in there, and everything's populated through name, address, postcode. We'll hit save. So we're now able to do document production items to the GP from the system without having to put that information in again. It's all there. As I said, if the information is already in the system, then let's make use of it and get them added at that stage there. And you can add linked accounts and other information in there. So we've got a minimum amount of data that we've saved against this client. So I'm happily going to save and close. Immediately as I do that, you'll see the onboarding process is about to kick in. So what this is doing is writing up an email with a welcome letter, a TOB, and in this instance, I've just added a no win, no fee court form just for an example. So when we OK that, you'll see a few minutes ago, we had a little bit of information about the client. Now we have an email that's populated with wording that we're going to send. This wording should be uniform in the firm because you want the same thing to go out to everyone every time, as we said earlier. And it's got the 3 documents attached to that. So these 3 documents are these 3 Word documents: the welcome letter, the terms of business, and that fee charge and agreement court form that we discussed for the client to sign. So sending that email out with the documents attached. And we're now done. So we click on the associated matter. And we click on events. We'll come back to this main screen in a second, but we click on the events, you can see everything, all the actions that just took place there. We sent out the email, we've created a planned event for a week's time to follow up if we don't hear from the client or we need to chase them up for the terms of business or that court form to send back. But all the communication we've had already now lives in events. You'll see we've activated the preview panel as well. So if you want to see the individual attachments, you can click on the drop down and view them as well, in case you want to see them individually. The preview panel you see here, we've got, and I'll just maximize this window so we can see, as you're going through the file, anything that's got a document attached, anything that has an email down here, you can see is visible. So you're not having to go in and out of each event to see what the details are. These are all visible on the one screen, allowing you to navigate the file really quickly. What we can also activate on here is a task list data page. So the data page you've seen on the previous screen was for the RTA. So that was allowing you to put in dates and information, registration details, all that kind of stuff. This allows you to basically be able to tick through, excuse me, tick through bits of the file that you know have been done. So if we know that that's been done and that's been done, we click on save. When someone then comes to view the file who's not necessarily been working on it, they're able to see on this data page, oh, that's been done and that, so we've got these tasks left to do. So a very high level task list of information can live on there. And then you can just click between those views, whether you want to see the attachment view or that view. So if we look at the matter screen, just go back to the main window, you'll see we've got the information that we had against the client in terms of description and details, the CRM analysis that we filled out. As we start to get more information on the case, we can have more fields in here. If we needed other fields in there, and they can be added as drop downs with pre-selected options or anything that you would require. The account information, as we start to work on the file, that will become more relevant because fees will be charged and time recording entries will be done and billed. They will all start to populate through this view here. As this happens to be a brand new client, those are sitting at 0 as it stands, and the time recording one as well as we start to bill. So back at the main matter window view, we click on the new button, you'll see there's quite a number of actions can take place. So these are a lot more actions than appeared at lead level, where it was just the first three options to communicate with the client. We can have further document production items. So based on the data that we've entered, those can appear there as well. Text and address and new time entry. So looking at the new time entry, based on the charge category that we chosen earlier on, you've got the option to start to record time on the file. That can be events based or email based or telephone call based, but you see the various options in there. So if you were to have a short telephone call in there, you see we set the WIP limit earlier on as £500. And a lot of the information is already pre-populated. So you may just want to just add a quick note in the narrative and set a time entry for that for 4 minutes, and that's your unit being charged there. So a lot of this can be pre-populated, so you're only just having to literally log the part that you need to log against the time file. The other option we have to record time on chargeable documents. So as you produce document production items against the matter, If we just look at one of the civil styles here, you'll see we've got various letters we can close in there to send to them. So we wanted to pick this one here, which is just an example letter. I'm going to click on the post time option, and I'm going to produce the document. So once the document is produced, you would tend to work on that, add the data you want to, and you'll see it's pulled up the time recording charge page for me to fill that out. So once I'm finished editing the document, if it's a lengthy document, I can add that up and do the word count, and click close to save that. So we'll just say, for example, that pretend that was a 300 word. You see it's updated the narrative with the pages and the word count, and we can hit save and close on that one. So having that prompt of the box coming up to do the time recording entry when you've produced the document does help in eliminating the ability to miss charging the time on there. So that's effectively the document production element of it. We do have import from Outlook as well. So as we start to work in the file, you'll see emails that go out from CaseLoad, that one there that we sent there about the inquiry is shown there from a live mailbox. So if I wanted to import multiple emails based on the reference number, I can do that on the main window and bring them in. You'll see we've got the post time option there as well. If you're looking to charge time on the email, you can charge time on there as well, and it will mark it with the email descriptions. But if we wanted to just import these two emails against this particular matter, you would select them. You do have the preview option, so I wanted to see the detail of the email. I can see that there on the right hand side. And then I can just click import, and that will bring those emails in. That one at the top has a few attachments, so it will take a wee second to bring that in. But once that's retrieved those emails from Office 365, it will then store that as an event in the system that you can see. So it's just immediately refreshed the view there and brought in the details of those emails, which is just automatically updating the file and giving us visibility of everything that's coming in. One of the things I wanted to show that we can do in the system as well is the ability to do document revisions. So this letter here, we'll say this is draft 1, and we'll click on the create revision option. So we'll say yes to that. So this has created a brand new revision event on that one. So if we look at the attachment there, it's revision 1 of the previous document. So we were to open that up in Word. You can see we can make changes. So then save that. So we refresh the view, you see we've got the first document plus the revision document, and that can go in multiple times. So that can go to revision 2, revision 3, revision 4, etc. as you work through that. But what we can do is then view the revision history as a single, on a single window, like I've just went into there. So let me just kind of recap. I've went into the event for the latest revision, and I've clicked on the button to view. I appreciate I went a little bit quick there. And then, so there you're able to see all the revision history that's happened with that document. So the original document that was done, the document that we made the changes to is then shown there as well. And that can go on multiple times, but having a place to then review those documents that have been revised is a much easier way to navigate the revision history, rather than what you see at the top. So we're looking at the revision history rather than having to go through all the file. This brings them all together and it kind of creates a story of the revisions as you go through it. So we'll go to the accounts view. So we were in that, we kind of spent a bit of time there looking at the one that we just onboarded that became a client. We sent them the terms of business. So we're now waiting on that one effectively. If we go back at the main matter view, you'll see we can customize the view to suit how the firm's going to work. And these can be personal customized views or firm-wide customized views. It really depends on the option. So this one here, you see we've got the description, the client, the code, and the court that's dealing with the matter. So those fields that you see in the CRM analysis field can be replicated here to give you an overall job view. Now this one you see we've filtered on having the civil and criminal work type shown. I'm going to filter, and you'll see just there's a little blue icon to tell me that the filter's appearing down here. I'm going to untick the criminal to give us just the civil view. So effectively this is all live civil matters for this particular firm. You can see the limitation dates can show in there as well. So that's the all matter view. The matter account view is slightly different in that you can see we've got the charge category with the fee earner and work type and the various balances shown. So quick visibility of the balances for fees outstanding. These can be filtered. So if we were looking to just see the clients that have a fee outstanding, you can see that they will now be shown there, and it really kind of depopulates the main list of ones if that's the kind of specific nature of the query you wanted, the criteria you wanted to view at that point, and you can work through that in any of the columns in terms of date wise. You can have, we could clear the filter on the fees outstanding. We could just have the civil one shown again there. So that gives us the kind of firm-wide picture department by work type view individually of them. In the time matter view, I'll literally just show the ones that have time recording against them and the WIP charges progressing towards that. So it's really a personal preference as to how you prefer to work. We noticed that people like to work in the client view or the matter view or matter account time matter view. So you would get your own preference as to how you would want to work and view the files on a day-to-day basis, and they can be searched on account code, or I can just show my own matters there. So clicking on that, my time recording accounts will show just the ones that are visible to me. If we jump to the events view, because that's where the court diary will live. I'm just going to bring up the court diary view here, and we'll just have a look and see what that can do. So we've got a few dates up and coming in the next few days. The ones that are red, you can see that they're overdue. But I say overdue, I mean we've not entered a summary and outcome into that. So once we enter a summary and outcome into that one there, for instance, just open that one up, put a summary. You see we've got time recording in there as well. So if you want to post time against that court diary entry, you can do so. But once we've done that, and we just scroll back down, you can see that that's now turned black. So it's a past event which has got a summary and an outcome, and the ones that are up and coming are shown as blue. So this one here, we've got, we'll take that one for James Black for the Aberdeen Sheriff Court. You'll see if we click on the court diary entry view, we've got a few options in there in terms of how we communicate things to the client and how we work on the integration directly, again, back to Office 365 for the different calendar options. So because I'm logged in as myself, I have the ability to send it to my calendar, to the representative's calendar, or to another calendar within the firm. So I was to send that to the representative's calendar, that's now been sent to Callum's Office 365 email calendar to tell him he's due in court, not him personally, but he's due in court to represent on the 26th of November. Email client and text client options, we can pre-populate different messages basically, but really simple. This one here is just dear person, you're due at court, number, date, time, regarding. So it's really easy, quick ways to communicate that information without having you to type it, without having you to personally get your phone out, WhatsApp the person, whatever ways of communication you currently use. These can be made quicker in CaseLoad and give you that ability to quickly communicate with the client. And these views can be filtered the same way other ones can. So if I'm looking to just see my own upcoming appointments, you'll see I can click on that, and that's showing all the ones I've done for me. And the same can happen on the left hand side. I've just pushed that window into the left to give us a better overall view. If I was to clear that filter there with the X back at the main view, I can see everything that's happening in the Aberdeen court, for instance. Everything that has a particular diet type we can filter by, and the same with the representative. We can see what's up and coming for, or past for an individual court lawyer. So there is quite a bit we can do on that. I appreciate the time as much, or maybe have some questions. So that's pretty much all of the learning objectives covered, I think, as he checks to the left to make sure.
Great, thanks very much for that, Stephen. We had a couple of questions that came in that I've actually just answered via message that weren't necessarily related to the content. However, we have had one question come in, which is actually clearly someone has heard the rumour that we're going to be integrating with the Scottish Courts and Tribunal Service. So I suppose this is as good time as any to talk about it. So Stephen, would you mind just giving the viewers a bit of an overview?
Yeah, so we'll go back in. Very early stages at the moment, but we're working on an integration with the Scottish courts on the simple procedure claims that you do on Civil Online. So it looks like the Civil Online portal is going to be mandatory from the 1st of December. So your choice is to do that through your sign in to Scottish courts, or we've been working on an integration with that will allow you to do that from your case management system, which is really, really good. So if we look at this top one here, I have here's one I did earlier, style option. So you see we've got a claim already in place that I've added earlier today. So rather than do a new one, I'll just show you one that how you would then work that through. So if I pick on that one there, you'll see the steps that we've outlined here in the integration are exactly the same as what you get on Civil Online. So the claim information in terms of background information, the details of the event and what the reason behind the claim is, what the outcome you would like to be. You see I've ticked a box and asked for a sum of money, and what steps we've taken, why it should be successful, and the evidence. So they're all, we actually think this is better than what the Civil Online one does, but we'll not tell them that this is just a really quick way of being able to put the information in. You can see we can add persons or companies to there, and we can add for the claimant side, and for the respondent side we can add people in there. And then the status page, it's just your details plus the court details that you want to submit that to. So you can either save that claim in the system, you can add that claim as a draft, or you can fully submit that claim to the court. So if I was to add that claim just now, it will send that submission. So that claim's been successfully added. And you'll see we've got it's just immediately returned as the reference from the court in terms of the claim being on the system. So that's now living there as an accepted claim. But there will be a lot more detail to come out as to what that's going to look like. And that was just a kind of quick preview overview as to what the early stage of the integration is going to look like.
Great. Hopefully that answers that question and gives a bit of an overview. And as you say, Stephen, we'll come back to that in later sessions, and there will be information available on our website once we've completed the full integration. So good news on that. So as always, we are available for a chat anytime. So if anyone does have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to Stephen, myself, or any of the team following the sessions to ask any additional questions that you may have, get a bit more insight or more in-depth virtual demo, or we can set up some video meetings to discuss anything caseload related. The session has been recorded. It will be available to watch on our website within the next 24 hours. The link is here, but we'll also send that out to you just for ease, and that will take you directly to the video itself. And that's the end of this week's session, folks. We will be back next week, focusing on how CaseLoad can support immigration lawyers. So I'd like to thank you very much for joining us today. And if immigration law is a work type your firm focuses on, we hope you'll join us again next week. But in the meantime, stay safe and take care.